Welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the most baffling and forgotten mysteries of modern history. The case of the Isdal woman remains one of Norway's greatest unsolved mysteries. Investigators from the Bergen police were quoted in media from the time expressing their frustration. Some stated that the case was the most difficult they had ever handled due to the deliberate lack of evidence. The BBC and NRK podcast, Death in Ice Valley, features interviews with some of the original investigators, including former Bergen police officer Kåre Stølen. He and others recount the bewildering nature of the case, and their disbelief that someone could have gone to such lengths to hide an identity. Let's dive into it. On the morning of November 29th, 1970, hikers in Isdalen Valley near Bergen, Norway, stumbled upon a distressing scene. The body of a woman was splayed on some rocks, severe burns all over her front rendering her unrecognizable and destroying most of her clothes. Other items such as jewelry, a watch, and a broken umbrella were arranged around her in a tableau some have described as ritualistic. Police scoured the scene, but found nothing to determine who she was. In fact, this seemed to have been deliberate, with great efforts made to remove all marks and labels from her clothes and belongings. Despite her terrible injuries, police stated they believed the woman to be 5 feet 4.5 inches tall and aged between 25 and 40. She was believed to have brown eyes, a small round face, and small ears. Her long brownish-black hair had been tied into a ponytail. The initial conclusion of a complex suicide was a contentious one, even within the police force. While it technically fit the evidence, sleeping pills and a post-mortem fire. In interviews for the podcast, investigators expressed that the theory was the only one that fit all the facts, but also that it never felt quite accurate. The police were often frustrated by how the case was perceived by the public and the media, which sensationalized the spy theories. As the investigation proceeded, things only got stranger. 2 suitcases in Bergen train station's lost luggage department were thought to belong to the woman, her fingerprint being found on a pair of glasses contained therein. The lost luggage. Yet, despite the clothes, wigs, cosmetics, and other items inside, these had all, once again, been cleansed of all labels. Interestingly, a coded note was found in one of the suitcases. When the code was eventually cracked, it proved to be a list of places where the woman had stayed. The more evidence police uncovered, the more it seemed the Ice Valley woman had been involved in some sort of espionage. They learned that she stayed in several Norwegian hotels using a variety of aliases and fake passports. The master of disguise. She spoke English with an accent, using some German phrases. People often remembered her and described her as having the air of affluence and worldliness. One witness even described seeing her walking in the valley pursued by 2 men. Reference code: the chilling witness. The police working on the case for decades expressed a deep-seated frustration and obsession with solving it. The fact that someone could vanish so completely, leaving no trace of their identity, was a professional and personal affront. One common sentiment among those who worked the case is a sense of professional pride and a drive to find the truth. One of the lead investigators, Arne F. Dahl, was known to have been deeply invested in solving the mystery, working on it for years even after it went cold. The book Death in Ice Valley. The Unsolved Case of the Isdal Woman by Marit Higraff and Neil McCarthy provides extensive detail on the police investigation and the emotions of the investigators, based on their interviews for the podcast. It offers a more complete picture of the human side of the investigation beyond just the factual evidence. On the 5th of February 1971, the woman was given a Catholic burial based on her use of saints' names on check-in forms in an unmarked grave within the Molendal graveyard located in Bergen. Attended by 16 members of the Bergen police force, She was buried in a zinc coffin to both preserve her remains and for ease of disinterment. Her ceremony was also photographed in case relatives came forward at a later date. The most common theory holds that the Ice Valley woman was a spy, and that her strange death and aliases paint a picture of somebody hiding in plain sight. Popular opinion suggested she was an Israeli spy, but this is now viewed as less likely since her DNA profile was released, showing she was likely of European descent. Norway had experienced other strange disappearances in the 1960s, close to military installations, which trace back to international espionage. The declassified records of the Norwegian armed forces also reveal that many of the woman's movements seem to correspond to top-secret trials of the Penguin missile. A fisherman is also reported to have seen the woman in the area of Penguin missile testing in Stavanger. Her presence in Stavanger is corroborated by a shoe salesman who sold her a pair of rubber boots. While her identity remains a secret she took to her grave, modern investigations have brought to light new details that have both deepened and challenged previous theories. A resident of Bergen came forward in 2005, claiming he saw a woman matching the Isdal woman's description 5 days before her body was found. She was walking on a hillside, dressed for the city, and was being followed by 2 men. He reported this to the police at the time, but the information was never officially recorded. A taxi driver who took the woman to the train station in 1991 said he was joined by a second man during the ride, a detail that was never corroborated. In 2019, a French resident claimed to have had a relationship with the woman in the summer of 1970. He described her as a multilingual polyglot with a Balkan accent who was secretive and received scheduled phone calls from abroad. He suspected she was a spy but was too afraid to report her. With the case reopened in 2016, modern technology has provided some key insights into her identity. Isotope analysis. Analysis of her teeth suggests she was born around 1930 in or near Nuremberg, Germany, but moved to France as a child. This supports earlier handwriting analysis, which also indicated she was educated in a French-speaking country. DNA analysis. Her DNA has been identified as mitochondrial DNA haplogroup H24, which is a matrilineal line of descent from Southeast Europe or Southwest Asia. This has led to speculation that she may have had a French passport. New theories have emerged, including the possibility that she was a sex worker due to her carefully planned travel routes and discreet behavior. Another suggestion, from a professional fact-checker in 2023, is that she may have had connections to a Swiss banker and that the Norwegian intelligence service interfered with the local police investigation. Despite these new discoveries and a popular podcast that has brought new attention to the case, her identity remains unknown. Her body, preserved in a zinc coffin, still holds the secrets of who she was and what truly happened in the Valley of Death. Today, the remains of the Isdal woman are buried in an unmarked grave, her coffin made of zinc so as to prevent decomposition,